Hey everyone, hope you're well, hope you're having a good day. Thank you for the likes and the comments and the feedback on the Theta video. It's doing very, very well. It's obviously something that I want to do more of. So please slap on a like, give us a comment and whatnot. I want to talk about Litecoin and the blockchain halving. Quite complicated, it might bore some of you, but if you're looking at trading, top tip, go along on Litecoin. I would right now. It's in a very, very strong trend. It's going to have the fundamentals. I want to talk about the fundamentals in a minute, but I want to talk about a trade that I kind of buggered up on really. I went long on Litecoin at the start of this trend, and then I started going short. Started going short a few times because I was expecting a retracement. I thought, well, it's never going to hold, it's never going to keep doing this. And every time it just went to the first fib and just bounced straight off it every single time. And it's, yeah, I think now a lot of this is due to the mining rewards. I think it's a very, very early trend start. It started in December, very, very early. And the mining rewards are actually happening in August. So they're still 150 days away pretty much. So if you look at that, it's quite a big area where we could grow. $54 at the moment for a Litecoin. It's not bad. Fundamentally, you could have got it cheaper, but I do think it's going to trend. I think it's going to go into the three figures in the next couple of months or so. Not financial advice, but I do think history tells us that. But I'm going to show you the history. But I want to show you this trade first. So if you go from this low area to this area, the tops of this area here, and if I bring this right the way across, because I want to show you this wick here. This wick here was the bit I was looking at getting a second bounce on. Bear with me. So if I zoom in, you'll see it. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So forget about this nonsense up here. This massive bull wave just gone to the moon. So this here, right? This was when Bitcoin kind of crashed a little bit the other day. Okay. My fundamentals were the TA was right. It was there, but Bitcoin didn't have its second wobble. You know when you're boxing and you're kicking the shit out of someone, and they have that little ooh. That's what Bitcoin tends to do. It tends to hold support and then it tends to retest it again and drop below. It didn't. It just held perfectly. And that's what I was hoping for with Litecoin. I was hoping, because it never even touched the side with any of the retracements over the last couple of weeks, that it would. And I got in a great entry up here, like 12.25 or 12.26. Thought, right, I think that if Bitcoin has a bit of a moment again, we're going to go bang back down to here again. Didn't happen, did it? It just went sideways and Bitcoin held and then off it went. Had a tight stop loss, I only lost a couple of percent, so I'm not bothered. But that's just annoying, and that just shows you how strong this trend is. So now it's like flipping my mind a little bit and thinking, right, long on Litecoin, because this mining reward is pretty big. So you can see here, boof, off it goes. It's fucked off to the moon. And if you actually went on, you know, you could have easily showed on, well, you kind of really. If you go on a shorter time frame, you can kind of see where roughly a target would be for this. And it was pretty crazy to think where it went. And even on the 4 hour time, actually no, the 4 hour time frame is pretty bang on for this. You can do an absolute awesome little fib retracement with an extension, or fib extension essentially. And it literally on the nose, one of the extensions is right up there. On the nose. So that's good to see. So let's talk about a few things first. Blockchain mining halving, okay? Now, Litecoin, let's have a little look just so I'm getting the correct information. It only mines 50 coins per miner as a reward, okay? So every time they mine, they get 50 coins, okay? That is halving to 25, okay? So that 50 goes to 25. This creates a thing called scarcity, okay? Supply and demand. When the miners are getting rewarded less, there's more supply for them due to the demand that there's less tokens coming out, okay? Over time, every 4 years in the code of Litecoin and Bitcoin, I want to mention that as well, with the algorithm, how it works is essentially every 4 years, it will be halved. So it'll be 25, 12.5. You can see where I'm going here. And it will change every single 4 years, but it's all set in code. It's not going to change. I'm going to adapt it. And historically, they pump, and it's pumping now. It's 1400 sats right now. I'm watching it on the screen. Crazy. So for me, retracement time, I'm looking to get in as a long, and the reason why is because of this. If you look back at history, the last one was in August. Now look at it, like it's crashed, but beforehand the value was there. The value was there, and the proposition was there. This doesn't look like a massive gain. When you're talking about a trend start, you could argue it started to pumping up in January, like what it's doing now. January, February, March, it's been pumping quite well. It really rocketed this massive wick here on the daily. It's crazy, this. These are massive pumps, and I don't think you comprehend how big these pumps are. If I put any sort of date range on it, or any sort of even from this area here up to the top, that's 500%. But if you just started here and you just held on to it, you could get to the body 6 times gain. At top to bottom, you're never going to get the top to the bottom. But if you got this wick at some point, any type of profit, you're laughing really. So we're going from like $1 a Litecoin to $7, $8, $9. Crazy for an event, okay? But historically, we can only see that on Litecoin at the moment, okay? If you look at the chart right now, Litecoin has pumped, and if I just zoom back out on the daily, now this is the BitMEX chart. This, give or take, was roughly when it started trending. We'll say it from here, okay? 700, and it's doubled, basically. In a nutshell, it has doubled. So fundamentally, it seems to be adding up correctly. So we're nearly doubled. In sats value, kind of no. But if I put this on, say, the other chart, Litecoin on here, if I just zoom it all in, ignore the little buy and stuff buttons. That's really good, by the way. If you set it to one of your emails that you're looking for a trigger, good to give you a little bit of a warning. So when you look at this, you think, right, cool, awesome. Now this is where it started trending, roughly the 15th of December. It's been a long time now, a long time. So you could have sold up here, cool, yeah. It come back down, went off again. Fundamentally though, I reckon long now. I reckon this is going to pump quite hard. There's a bit of resistance up here at 55. It needs to break above this. So I'm looking to go long soon. So you can see here, we've doubled in price pretty much from now. Okay, 110% gain. If this has got another 300, 400x in it in terms of percentage, it could go up another 2 or 3 times from this point here. It could be $150, $200 coin back again based off Bitcoin mining rewards. So find a good entry. I'm looking at this and thinking, well, this has got to retrace at some point. And when you look at this in terms of the structure of the coin, it's looking quite interesting from this period here. That looks like an impulse wave up. That looks like a correction. That we look like we're going to be completing a 5-wave structure here and probably ending up here if you're going to kind of predict anything. But fundamentally, you've got to kind of look for it and kind of just look and see, well, maybe, maybe not. So for me, if you put a fib retracement on it, we're pretty much near the nose of this resistance here, which is where we could go. We could go to here, which is pretty much just above that, which is that resistance. And if you go a bit further up, if you're really brave, you could look at a $68, which is literally this resistance here. So that's my call on it. That is where I'm looking short-term target if you're looking at it. But also, don't forget about this. This is due a retracement, okay? This hasn't retraced yet. It's still going. It's still pumping. And what goes up tends to come down, which is always my worry. But also maybe not. If you do that, simply we've hit there once. Pretty much that is it. And we've hit here once or twice. That's it. That's all we've done. No full retracement. I would love it to retrace down here. I would love it if it did that. And I'd be like long. Off we go. But I don't think it will. So I want to talk about Bitcoin now. Oh, it's still going. 1,411 sats. 1,412 sats. It's crazy. Pumping like crazy right now. So let's talk about Bitcoin halving and why it's kind of important. Now, this is the first ever halving of Bitcoin. Doesn't look like much, but it's massive, okay? It happens in August with Bitcoin. Now, obviously, as I mentioned before, ignore the buy and sells. With Bitcoin, it rallied up quite early. It happened in November, but prior and past hit, it was a bit weird. So you got it pumped beforehand, it came down, and then afterwards it pumped again. So historically, this is kind of how it looked. Yeah, you can kind of see, crazy. So what happened was it prior pumped from this region here, May time, 2012, and the actual halving took place in November. Okay, came down in October, but it really did rally up. Okay, so when you're looking at the stats and you're looking at all the figures, and it's kind of here, and yeah. Big massive gains, they're decent, but when you look past this, it's even worse. Look at that, it's madness. So everyone started to run on it. I don't know if that's going to happen ever again in Bitcoin. Don't know if it will, but it could. You never know. But that is the halving, first one anyways. Historically, there was a pump beforehand, it dipped a bit and it pumped again. Could this happen with Litecoin? Who knows. And the next one, give you a bit of an example. This was more a June, July sort of one. So this was July 15. This didn't pump as much afterwards as quickly, okay? It was a bit of a delay to it, but it pumped massively beforehand, as you can see. So you can see here from April time, it really thought, well, let's give it the beans there. And it did it. It really did go for it, and it went. And you can, even from here, ignore those wicks. You start from this trend here. That is, at the time, monumental. 77% is quite high, realistically, when you look at it, starting from $400. And then afterwards, this was effectively the start of the bull run, okay? When you look at historically on the daily and where it was, you know what happens next, don't you? You just know it. Off it goes. Now, I'm not saying that that's going to happen with Litecoin. I'm not going to say anything about that. It's not financial advice. But fundamentally, the historical events are there. You should really look at them and look to see why. And if I look right now at Litecoin, this is where we are right now, okay? We are pumping like crazy. That is my old fib extension, and we could be going up to here. We could be quite easily going up to that. It's just crazy to think. So we'll see where this goes. So not financial advice. Crazy. So if you're looking at investing, Litecoin is definitely an option. Over the next couple of months, you should be looking at a long. $54, $55 isn't too bad, considering where it's been. It's been $250 in the past. This could really pump, guys. It could really pump, and historical events will state that. It could well lead the market for a couple of months now. But again, do your own research, have a little look. Don't just look at what I say. But the fundamentals are there. When that block halves, it is going to create scarcity. It's going to create supply and demand, and it's going to make a big difference.